All right. So we're a little late with this one, but I'll try to keep this quick, since it's only relevant for the next hour and 20 minutes, give or take. Um, so let's do a quick recap. The league. I mean, this one, not much to talk about. Jimmy did Jimmy things, put up 140, solid score even with losing Hines. Godwin working back. Andrews finally back to Andrews things. Eckler, you know, top running back in the league apparently. Um, Meanwhile, my crappy team lost three guys to injury all in 1 week from the starting lineup. Never mind the three on the bench. But hey, we almost broke 100. Teddy ruled out hurt. Melvin Gordon. I'm hoping to see a little bit more than 13 points out of him with being the only running back there, but apparently Mike Boone's a thing. That fun. Henry getting going. Who knows what's happening in Pittsburgh? T. Higgins decided he's not actually playing. Mostly coach's decision, I guess. Goddard things. Najee still being the guy that should be valuable, but somehow isn't at all. Chase had a rough one, and then Damian Harris gets hurt. You know, always rough. A couple of good quarterbacks on the bench. Carson Wentz, not so good this week. That not enthused. Lose Baker, lose Penny. Stevenson coming on though. That I'm okay with Damian Harris missing quite a bit of time. Stevenson likes to play well when it's just him. And the rest of my team is pretty piss poor. So, not looking great for me. Go on to the next one. You got James continuing to put up victories. Lamar, mediocre game for him, but Fournette goes off, Jacobs goes off, Dubes is whatever. AJ Brown had a rough one. Conklin, Diggs, and McCaffrey do, wide receiver one, running back one things, and Geno Smith as the win your league quarterback bench guy. Um, it's great. Kareem Hunt would have been okay in there. Gabriel Davis with 32 points thanks to that 98-yard touchdown, boosting most of that. But another good week. So I mean, James is looking tough. I mean, depends which Fournette you continue to get. Is it the first couple of weeks, even those aren't awful, but Josh Jacobs having a 30-point week last couple of weeks. So the question is it week 1 and 2 Josh Jacobs or week 4 and 5? And we'll find out. Tyler takes another loss. This one, probably a lot more well deserved. Barkley does 20 points, Brady with 20, but then James Robinson, in that poop fest of a game. Waddle doesn't do a whole lot with, the third string quarterback for the whole game. Lamb kind of a, you know, average game. Hawkinson, um, only puts up points on your bench. Devontae Smith gets all the action AJ Brown didn't get. Lazard was okay. Rodgers, you know, it's bad. I call 15 points from Rodgers a good time, but that's kind of the point I'm getting to is you get 15 points out of him. Um, might as well call him Marcus Mariota at this point. So, but Mike Boone with 11. We'll see what that backfield keeps doing. Jeff Wilson came out and had a showing in 37-point, offense week there. What's up with Cam Akers? I seems like the answer is not on the Rams anymore, but I have no idea what that's going to look like. Whether that's good or bad for Tyler, we'll find out. But if he just stops playing, I can't imagine that's a good sign for Tyler. Judy and the horrific, you know, Denver offense. Glad I don't have a part in that. Um, Jake London just kind of pedestrian there. Waller being hurt, kind of rough right now. So I mean, we'll see. It's one of those things where his team looked really good a few weeks ago, and it's not looked nearly as good for Tyler recently. But couple more weeks till the trade deadline and see what happens if he goes full Tyler again and sells off a solid looking team, or if kind of sticks it out or goes for it. Here, Cholo 0 and 5. I mean, it sticks with what I've been saying the whole time. I'm just not a fan. I mean, this week he's going to be out Connor, but Kamara finally had a decent week, but only took their offense 39 points to get there. Burrow things. Connor's just not having those touchdowns that he had years like last year. He was buoyed by all the touchdown runs he got. This year, not as much. Juju not nearly a part of the offense I thought. Sutton has the connection, 11 targets, but isn't really converting them to big numbers because that offense has got awful. You know, Hunter Henry, solid game. Chase Edmonds apparently is no longer a thing in Miami. AX, whatever. Without Trey Lance, I don't know if that connection really means much. And Trevor Lawrence with, you know, kind of a 10-point week. He had a couple of good weeks starting off, and then last couple of weeks have been pretty rough. So I don't know what to think there, but I might be thankful that Cholo didn't take me up on my offer to trade him. So that was, but it's got Garoppolo there. But I mean, other than that, you got a whole lot of still waiting for Keenan Allen to get healthy. Needs Bateman healthy. Everyone hates Tony. But other than that, Cobb had a big game. Hurst had a big game, but I don't see it turning around. But maybe I'm just low on everything. And Jody gets back in the win column. Finally has another decent week. Big Mahomes and Cook week. But now he's starting to lose that Gibson share, and he's got Robinson, but who do you start? Can you start either of them? I will find out. Adams with a good game. Um, bonus points for that. He got that extra point for the tackle post game. Um, so that was some bullshit, but Mike Williams was decent. Njoku continuing to be decent for tight ends. AJ Dillon playing the lottery once again there. Algai lottery. Jared Goff with a horrific game. But you gotta trust him week in, week out. Cousins, I mean, to a quarterback needy team like myself, if Jody could find something and get a trade for Goff or Cousins, and get something of semi-meaningful or useful value back, do you want three quarterbacks? Maybe. Maybe you want to switch those. Maybe you ride out the three because you'll always have two with bye weeks. So we'll see. But McKinnon, you know, had a decent week. Um, Michael Carter, apparently every running back for the Jets was awesome last week, but I think he's getting phased out a little bit. Um, yeah, so we'll see. Hardman, I mean Jacoby Myers. I love me some Jacoby Myers. Um, quietest guy. You're gonna see putting up points every week, and then Pitts, out. But can Pitts ever get it going? So I don't know. He put up a respectable 142. Um, it's my goal every week. If I can put up 140, I'm pretty happy. And Jody did that and deserved that W. Then we get down to the close one. Steven barely beating Kenny. Suck it, Kenny. Hurts doing Hurts things. Chubb showing that he's the real deal. Mixon still kind of working through stuff. Was mid-teens. I thought Mixon would be a 20-point guy a lot more consistently this year, but apparently not. Cooper Cup things. Mike Evans kind of held in check, 12 points, not bad, but not great. But Mostert coming out is huge for Steven. McLaurin is, who knows with that offense, but without Dotson, he's okay. But when Dotson's back, I don't know if I want that. CEH had a rough game, and look, I mean, he's still waiting for Dak to get back. That'll be the big boost for him when Dak's back. That'll help him out. Not that he really needs it. I've seen his record. Um, MVS had a decent game. I don't know if I trust that, but we'll see. But I mean, the you know we're going to the casino. Taysom Hill pick. Start him when you feel like you're really desperate. Otherwise, don't. Kenny, really feeling bad. He's 1-4. Russell Wilson, who we just traded. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Brees Hall had a big game. Henderson still May. Pittman not quite doing what we thought Pittman would do, and I thought, you know, he made a huge, brilliant trade and had kept him, week one to 27 points, and then he hasn't done a whole lot recently to make me feel great. Jefferson did Jefferson things. Kittle scored more than 6 points. That's a start. You know, DK decent game, Olave decent, Herbert decent. So it was close. You're gonna lose some of those 140s, and that's what he did. But I mean, no JT hurts, although JT hasn't been himself. Apparently this week it was a TN week. Kenneth Walker will be a big boon going forward with Penny being done for the year. Um, so we'll see. Robinson's a bust. Mari Cooper solid. Seems week in week out. So Kenny's got some pieces. We'll see what he decides to do. He's 1-4 is not a good way to go, but still a lot of the season left for him when you have a team that should be good. Um, but we'll see. And then T Wells, gets the win. You know, mediocre Tannehill. Sanders was meh. Pierce looking like worth that first round pick. I'm not sure he holds up for year over year, but for this year it's been pretty good. Samuel, you know, 12 points, not bad. Debo, not quite the Debo game you're looking for, but Kelsey, 4 touchdowns, definitely helps out. Dobbins, I thought was going to be better, is still kind of struggling. Jamal Williams, when they didn't do anything, Carr's all right, but I mean, before Tua was your guy, you know, Cook's not quite the wide receiver two that he has been in years past, kind of alternating weeks, so it's not as reliable. But Michael Thomas gets back soon, that'll help considerably. Um, not a bad team. Um, I'm still okay playing him in the playoffs, but I won't be shocked if he makes the playoffs. He's got a neat core and has done pretty well early on. And Luke's team just doing Luke things. Kyler's okay, but what do you do with Zeke? It's always a joy. Montgomery had a good week. Marquise Brown is looking like a really nice spot there in Arizona, at least till Hopkins gets back. Christian Kirk, they didn't do anything. Cole Kmet finally scores. St. Brown, the team laid an egg. Nothing more there. Singletary didn't do a ton. Um, and Fields, found what 200 yards passing looks like. So things are okay, but he's stuck with the Dallas running back problem. Who do you start? Do you start any of them? Fuck if I know. Glad I don't have that problem. Benjamin had a big week. What does that look like? Does that help him out? And, this week with what's Connor out, so we'll see. Josh Reynolds had a decent week. Does he start becoming more reliable at least till Jameson Williams is back? We'll see. Uh, Claypool, down on him. Nico Collins did a little bit. He's got a whole bunch of kind of average, mid-tier wide receivers here. George Pickens seems to have a connection with Pickett, but we'll see how that keeps going. So he's got potential to turn it around, but it's when two of your running backs are Zeke and Pollard, and both are decent, but you got to start both to have any hope of scoring decent points. It's a draw for you. Just play the lottery, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So we'll see. I mean, when we look at stuff, it's standings. It's a little tricky. You can't see it because I'm too lazy to connect stuff up nicely here. I can try changing this to see it. Nope, of course not. Anyways, James, top of the division, 4-1. T Wells, Grovigal, right behind at 3-2. They're right there. I'm back at 2-3 in fourth. Not loving my team. And then you got Cholo back at 0-5. Only 2 games out of the playoffs, but it's pretty rough. And Steven rolling along at 4-1. I don't expect that to change. Jimmy starting to get on his heels at 3-2. Jody 3-2, but 100 points back on Jimmy. And Luke at 2-3, and Kenny at 1-4. So it's still early. Even your bottom teams are only 2-3 games out of the playoffs, so there's still hope. But I think next couple of weeks here, as we lead up to the couple weeks before the trade deadline, is going to be quite telling on what guys want to do. So, and then the other big news is we had the trade this week, where if I was going to look at it and really grade it, I give T Wells a nice solid D. You gave up the better contract on the better offense, maybe the better quarterback, um, and you gave up a better pick. Realistically, with the pick swap stuff, you probably are only moving down a handful of picks um, from that end of second, hopefully in T. Wells' case, to that maybe early third. Um, of Kenny's, if he keeps being bad, it gets a little bit wider if whatever. But I mean, in my opinion, worst you got the worst quarterback on the worst offense, and gave up a pick to do it, or gave up you know, 5, 6 spots in the draft. Not worth it for me. You know, we'll see. I mean, now that Tua's cleared protocol, we'll see when he gets back. If he's back next week, I think this trade starts looking worse and worse. Um, and was a panic from T Wells that's going to keep looking bad. Um, but we'll see from McKenny's side. You know, probably a solid B. Um, you know, I wouldn't call it an A because it's still up in the air, but feels like B's about right. You got a guy who could grow, was leading one of the top quarterbacks for the first couple weeks before he started getting concussion stuff, on a dynamic passing offense. So we'll see. He's got to come back healthy, continue progressing in the next year, but um, part of it depends. Does Russell Wilson ever get back to Seattle Russell Wilson, or is he just still, even if he gets a little bit better, I might still prefer Tua, but um, turns out he might have, these might be the only two people in the league who think Russell Wilson's better than Tua right now. So uh, we'll see. Like I said, solid D grade for T Wells, probably a B plus for Kenny doing this. So we'll see where it goes, and look forward to evaluating it in the future, coming back to it. Um, Otherwise, trade stuff. Like I said, I mean, it kind of depends on the standings. Kenny, considering making moves. Obviously, if he loses another one, it goes to 1-5. Things get rougher. It goes to 1-6, gets rough. Um, Luke finally has his first round pick, so if he wanted to tank, he could actually do it and sell off his players. Obviously, Jody's not selling. Jimmy's not selling. Steven's not selling or buying. Um, Cholo, I expect to sell at some point here. He's got some guys with value. Not a ton of expiring, so the price is a little higher. But I mean, at this point, we're past the premium paid. I pay premiums for trading guys in week 2. The premiums are kind of gone when I hit week 6. Those extra 2 or 3 weeks aren't worth me paying that premium. Um, so guys, stop telling me that I should pay a premium. I'm kind of in the middle. I've got some holes that I think if I patch, my team could be decent. But we took a lot of injury hits this week. I think we lost 6 guys, got hurt this week. So not a good thing for me. So I mean, you might see me selling, but none of my guys are exactly lighting it up where people are coming for me with great deals to make me sell. So I'm not against it, but no one's come to me. Tyler, on the fence too, 3-2, but not liking the direction he's going. He, consider selling and moving back his timeline to the next couple years that he originally was thought he would have to do. Um, I already know T. Wells isn't selling. He's all in on taking 6th place in the league, so we'll let him do that. And then James at 4-1. You know, Sadly, the guy that with the most available things to sell with expiring contracts is 4-1. So for all of us hoping to get expiring deals, that's not happening. So we'll see. I haven't heard a whole lot of trade talk action really heating up this week, but I expect over the next 2 weeks things will start clearing themselves out on what's happened with Kenny and Cholo, especially. Although if Kenny wins one of the next 2 weeks, it starts getting a lot murkier on whether or not he should sell. So we'll see. Maybe he turns into every other year's Flannery and says he's going to sell and then never does. So, anyways, until next week or an hour from now when the league starts, I'll see you guys later.